little 6-month-old Sparky. This is Sparky. Say hi, Sparky. They're starting to look a lot alike because they're getting a little bit older. So I'm like, is this Sparky? Yes, it is. I'm gonna take it's what I call my puppy slicker. It's a soft slicker. It's got little teeny balls at the very end. I also have one that I use on my dogs that are hard bristled and longer, and it really cuts through the coat nicely. Um, Now he has been in water just about every day for the last month, and unless my puppies get in mud or poop, which is more likely than anything, the mud just comes off when they dry. But I will give them a bath. The overbathing them can dry their skin out, and they have a natural oil that coats their um, their coat and makes it more and makes it less tangly actually. And the interesting thing is they don't have an odor like a normal dog does, like that doggy odor. They do pick up the smells that are outside. And like if it's more humid, they may come in smelling a little botchy like a kid after recess. But within a few minutes, that goes away. They take on basically the smell of your house. Um, and they just don't smell bad, even if they haven't been bathed a lot. Um, when I first started grooming these dogs 20 years ago, the founder of the breed in Australia had some grooming videos, and I watched them, and they recommended not washing your dog, but every couple to 3 months for the purpose of the natural oils that are in the coat. He so far is mat free um, right now. He has not started losing his puppy coat and having his adult coat come in. That's when they start matting. So what I really like to do and with my puppies before they leave here is they get up on the grooming table every 2 to 3 weeks. And we just kind of do a once over. Now, this last month I was helping a friend who had major surgery, so I didn't get to them on the third week. So it's actually been since I brushed him out. It's been 6 weeks. I do the quick trimming if they need it and clean up between their eyes, but they just they just don't the puppies just don't need brushing the same. However, my recommendation is that you brush them every day just as a way to bond with them and get them used to the brushing process and the grooming process, because when they do get mats, which they will when they get older, when especially when they're losing their puppy coat, that's usually the roughest time, and it takes about 3 to 4 months, maybe even a little bit longer, for um the adult coat to grow in. And so brushing them regularly, like daily, is really important during that time, because then you'll catch any mats and they won't get worse, and then you won't have to have them shaved. Some people like them shaved. I actually do like my adult dog shaved in the summer because we're in the water so much, and I don't want to have to check all of them before they get wet, because if a mat is a significant size and it gets wet, it can get almost rock hard where it's really difficult to brush it out. That was it. So I don't know how many minutes it's been. It's been just under 4 minutes. I got him completely brushed out. And I don't know if you can see, but there's little to no hair in this brush. This is alive, so I'm obviously not editing it, but maybe that much. So his sister is actually starting to get her adult coat in, and she had just a little bit more, but it wasn't matted. It may be just slightly tangled, but his wasn't even tangled. He's just got a gorgeous coat. And then I take a comb. I usually use the ones that are further apart first, and then I go to the ones that are more closer together. And I just will just take the comb and just check and make sure that the comb is going all the way to the skin. When you're first doing this, you kind of want to part the skin and make sure you can feel what it feels like to actually get down to the skin with the comb. But I mean, I'm going to put the comb through it just so I can show you guys. But he doesn't have any mats um, at all. Like his coat is just luxurious. No mats. catching a little bit on some of the hair, but it does in our hair too. It's gonna feel the back of his paws, front. Sometimes the front paws will get a little teeny bit more tangled because they get wet when they get water and that kind of stuff. But I mean, he's been in the water every day for the last couple months, and that's all I got from the comb. So, like I've said before, my puppies just don't mat. I've been doing this 20 years, so I really have worked on their coats to be easier to maintain. And his dad just he has never matted, like even when he was losing his puppy coat. So um and I do, I do make sure I check them every day, especially when they're going through the change, because they tend to get them behind their ears. They tend to get them wherever we've clipped them, and I cut the hair under the ears just to keep their ears so they can dry out quickly. And so sometimes that's where they'll get a couple mats. So you just want to check them all over. Their back end, a lot of times from sitting on their sides, they kind of sit like bears. Sometimes will get matted under their underarms. So you just want to feel. And if you want to do a quick test, you can just take the comb and just go do those sections. And that will let you know if your comb stops in the coat. Probably you'll need to take the slicker to it real quick and then take the comb through it. If the mat gets big enough, I use cornstarch. I just get the big one at Walmart. I happen to like the lavender and chamomile smell. It just smells really yummy. And I put that on the mat. It helps pull the moisture out of the mat, and then you're just able to brush it out really super easy. It's actually messy, but it's the best way to get a mat out. I've done some comparisons on a bunch of different detangling sprays, and they've worked really well too. But not quite as easily as the cornstarch. The brushes just kind of go through the mats fairly easily, and you just start at the edge of the mat and then work your way into the middle of it, and that's how you get it out. Just like if you're brushing a girl's hair or your hair, if you have long hair, if you're a guy. Um, you usually start at the ends and work your way up. You don't want to start up here and then have big tangle from pushing the tangles down from the top. So you start at the bottom and just work your way up. And the same thing with the dogs with their coats. And I just do it in sections. So I'll just do a leg in the front, on the side, and the back. And I'll do a shoulder, and I'll do this section, and I'll do this section. And if they're starting to mat, then I take the brush and the comb right after for each section, and then I'll take it through the whole body. But he's not going to have a whole lot done because he brushed out so quickly. I'm going to do his nails, and then I'm going to trim up the bottom of his feet and trim up his face. We're gonna let's get his face first. I'm just gonna trim the hair out of his eyes. So what I do is I just basically take and he's got a more straight coat, so it's a little less forgiving, but it's pretty easy. You just put the scissors past the eye, so you don't want to have the point right at the eyeball because you don't want to accidentally get them. But and then his coat naturally goes back here, so I don't really have to do um any bangs. But if they start getting long, what I'll do is I'll just trim them from the side all the way to the other side at the length I want, and then they just look really good. Now the ears, what I do with the ears is I take my finger to the bottom, the leather, and I just cut kind of a straight line, and then I curve the edges slightly. And the nice thing about the ears, you can move it around. Make sure you're holding your finger on the leather so that he doesn't get cut, or she. This is a little boy. This is Sparky. Ouch. I'd rather cut myself than my dog, and I have. You do when you're a hair cutter, even cutting human hair. Um, so let's see. Yep, that looks good. And then I'm just going to trim up the hair that's under his ear just so that and he's getting used to just the feel of this. He doesn't have a whole, it's thicker, his coat. So I just trim down just like that. And he doesn't really have any hair in his ears. So I found the curlier the coat is, the more likelihood that maybe once a year I might need to pull it. But if I keep it combed out, I'll just take the comb and I'll just put it right in the ear canal right there if there's a lot of hair, and I'll kind of comb it out, and then I just cut it short, and it it's fine. They dry out. They just don't get, yeast or ear infections when their ears are able to stay dry. Okay, so we're gonna do your nails now. I think I'll use the puppy one. This one's a little bit smaller. This is one I use on my full-grown dogs. I do not use the little guide that comes with it. I push it to the side though, because you want to be able to see and you don't want to just trust that. That's going to be where you cut the nail because it could be too short and you could get the quick. He's got black nails, so I have my glasses on and I like to cut up and down, side to side side to side like this instead of like this because it's a U-shaped. And I just noticed that they don't have the same discomfort or reaction to the clip. I don't think it doesn't crush it the same way. But you got some long little nails here. Can I just get this one just a little bit shorter? You're doing so good, buddy. Good. Okay, let me get this last one. Okay, we're gonna get the inside. There we go. Okay, we're gonna go to this side now. They love putting their mouth down near the nail. So I'm just gonna. They were digging last week because I had a dog that was visiting that was digging, so he taught them how to dig. Ooh, so I've been working on him this week not to dig. Good boy. That's a good boy. And you can see, especially with the puppies. I just did his nails a couple weeks ago, and I do them about every couple weeks, but you can definitely see the tip um more distinctly, I think, with puppies, just because I think their nails just grow really fast. So, and I do need to put my apron on before I. That's a good boy. What you doing such a good job? I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, but we gotta here. Let's do this. You can't. Oh, okay, we got that at a weird angle. It'll. I take an emery board to it too. I just buy the acrylic emery boards. I use the roughest side first, and then I use the. Can I get this foot for me, buddy? Oh, let's see. Good boy. Look at you being so cooperative. So proud of you. And then if you hold the pad of their foot too, you're going to be able to control the toenail. It's not going to feel like it's just wiggling all over the place. Two more, and we're all done. Two more. It feels like you stepped in something, so we're gonna. One more. Where is it? It's the last one. Let me flip your foot back over this way. Good boy. Um. Okay. Now where's my emery board? There it is. I just use the rough side first. One of the dogs got to it, but it still works, so I'm not throwing it out. You can buy like a whole bag of them on Amazon for hardly anything. I think I have them on my store page on my website, royaldiamondlabradoodles.com/store, and that'll take you right there. So I just go over it a couple times. You can kind of hear as soon as it stops making the gritty noise, it's probably fairly smooth. And then I'll flip it over and use the smoother side of the emery board. And look at him. He's doing so good. I'm so proud of you. Yes, I am. Especially that um, inside nail. That one tends to grab my legs if they jump up on it. They're being trained not to, and these guys haven't jumped up on me in a long time, but they do. That inner nail tends to really get you. Good job. I don't worry about taking the emery board to the back feet because unless you've got like a leather couch or something, um, on the puppies, I just do it real quick because I just want them to get used to having their feet done. Okay, good job, buddy. Yeah, you're gonna eat the file. Here we go. Let's get this last one. Boop, 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 boop. Hi, everybody. Jeff, you know what? If you could tell me what you do, do you wash it out with the cleaner once a week? Um, what color is yours? Just out of curiosity. I use an ear wash. I get a huge gallon of it and just put it into a little bottle. And I had a puppy. See, I've been doing this a long time, so I've really been working on what breeder, what dogs I'm using to have puppies, so that could breed out the ear problems. And I have just not had any ear problems in the last, I want to say, in the last 5, 6, 7 years. One thing is I don't pull the ears because that does tend to, unless they have a yeast infection or they're really matted in their ears, I just comb it out and cut it. That way it allows the fluid to get in there. And see how he's shaking his head? That is a good shake. I just get these cotton pads from Dollar Tree. Um, I wouldn't use these on my face just because they are all, the lint comes off, but they're perfect because they're kind of soft, and you can almost, you put your finger in the middle of it and you can almost yeah, that had it like little to nothing. It's kind of like don't using a Q-tip in your own ear. Um, but if you do it once a week, if once a week they're still having a lot of um, yeast or a lot of dark, try twice a week. So that way, or do it and then check him daily. And if you start to see that he has some wax appearing, then clean it then. I had a dog, I needed to clean his about every other day. He's now, how old is he? 15, 14, 13, 13. And but we kind of found the trick with not pulling the hair. And also, and now I'm a big advocate for probiotics. I put my whole kennel on a probiotic, and I'll put it in the link. It's from Amazon, and it's very reasonably priced. It comes with like 90 or 180. I get them once a month because I give them to all my dogs. They get one a day or two if they're bigger. And I mean to tell you, it maybe will take a month. They've been on them for about 8 months now. I have zero yeast issues, zero itching on their skin. I had one girl that she'd chew on her feet and then she'd get orange because she's chalk. And hey Tammy, how you doing? And anyway, the probiotics really wipe that out completely. So I just do that on a regular. We just give it to them every night when they go in their crate. They love it because they're getting treated as well. So it's kind of fun. And yeah, so we just do that. So I'm just going to clean up his feet. Since I just clipped his nails, they're a little shorter, so I'll have more room to groom it. So I was taught by my groomer just to lift up the opposite foot and just kind of make a straight. It's catching on one of his toes. Make a straight line in front of the paw, and then you just kind of just kind of follow it around the sides. Now, the thing they taught me also was you can put your scissors literally on the table when you're doing this, and you can feel where their pad is, and then you just cut it so that the hair is not touching the ground anymore. And so I just kind of do a quick guide like that, and then I'll lift his paws up and get underneath as well. Let's get this other one, buddy. Back up here. How's everybody doing? He is a good boy. He's a very good boy. I get my puppy. He's 6 months old. He's available. I put my puppies up on the grooming table about every 2 weeks. They don't get bathed that often because they just don't need to be, unless they get in poop. I like the way that these dogs are bred is their natural oils just keep the coat nice and healthy. The most important thing is keeping them brushed out. If you can keep them mat free, you don't have to cut them. Once you start having a bunch of different lengths of hair, it's just mats easier. My puppies don't mat until they start losing their puppy coat and their adult coat's growing in, and the puppy coat kind of hangs on to the adult coat. And so I recommend everybody use it as a bonding time. I love it. It's my time where I get one on one with my dogs. And that way, the puppy, do it every day. It took me less than 4 minutes just to brush him out completely. It took another minute to take the comb through it because he was totally mat free. Um, and that way, they get really used to the grooming process, having their feet worked on, having, standing still on the grooming table. And this little guy's just curious about what's going on. He always is. He but he's so good. We're gonna face him this way. So I kind of lift up their paws, kind of like a horse. How you see people do horses when they clean the hooves out, and it just makes it's a real comfortable position for them. You're not fighting them. And I usually just cut the middle of the star. I call it the middle of the star, and then you can just kind of go out the sides. Now, when I actually bathe them and I check them, these guys don't. He doesn't have any mats in there. When they are starting to mat, I do shave the hair out from inside their coats just grow so fast as puppies. I don't worry about that. I just clean them up so they're not dragging a bunch of mud in. So 1, 2. Let's do the back 2. I'm gonna lift it up. It's just a good boy. And we're just gonna do a quick. Oh yeah, you did get into some mud. Looks like that just happened this morning. So it's still a little damp. But I was also saying the cool thing, he's not been bathed in 2 months. Now he's in the water just about every day. So it rinses off any dirt that he gets in his coat, but because they love to play in the water in the summer. But he doesn't smell. He just kind of smells like my house, I guess. Doesn't smell at all. And that's what another thing I love about these dogs. They don't drop hair and they don't typically have an odor. If you do smell an odor on your dog that smells kind of like, well, puppies get it. I call it puppy paws. It kind of smells like Cheetos. I love that smell on puppies. But if they're getting that smell where it's almost smelling pungent, most likely they're fighting some sort of a yeast infection somewhere. Could be in their paws, could be in their ears, could be on their skin. So the probiotics are very helpful for that. You're a sweet boy. Oh, it's a sweet boy. Your ears look fantastic. Okay. Well, almost done with this foot. Did I get underneath all the way? I got talking. I distracted myself. Oh, shoot. Put on my apron. Nothing worse than going in for having lunch and being itchy. I also find the fabric, like workout fabric that's like the wick away, is great. Grooming in. Some people will buy scrubs just for grooming because the hair washes off of them really easily. Um, I do it so much. I wear the apron and that helps. And we just go from there. Okay, so I'm gonna do his back paw. I'm gonna lift up the opposite leg because that way he won't walk around. He doesn't have the same ability to get away from me. And his coat being straighter is a little bit less forgiving. The paws always are a little bit, but it's not difficult. You guys, you make a mistake, it's okay. Um, next time it'll get better. You can trust me on that. But also, I really want to encourage you guys. I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep bringing because I just feel so sorry for all the groomers that you bring your dogs to that you haven't brushed. Is brush them as puppies. It's super easy and quick, and it's a bonding experience. So they get to just get loved on one, um, and you get to talk to them and brag on them, and they're learning all kinds of self control by standing still. That has mud in it. It may be more than mud. That might have kind of a little poop. Um, let me have it. Let me have it. You're being really good, buddy. I'm so proud of you. Yes, I am. And so then I'm going to put his foot down. I'm going to put my scissors on the table. If I'm trying to go up a little bit, I might bring one of the blades up so I can. But if I'm wanting to just make sure that it's not touching the ground, I just go flat with my scissors. I like to use curved scissors. I'll use them both ways. When I'm working with their feet, when you first start, you can do it where the curve is going up and away from their pads of their feet so that there's no point. And that way you have more control. So you don't get them with the tip. They also have great sets on Amazon. I think I've got one on my store page that has the rounded tips. If you're new and the tips make you nervous, I've been grooming these dogs for 20 years and cutting hair since I was 12. So I'm very familiar with scissors. However, I get myself all the time. because I'd rather put my finger in the way of the scissors than get their skin or get something on their body. Does anybody have any questions? I don't know. I hopefully I answered your question about the ear problems. I think I've also bred them out of my lines. Um, but the biggest thing is knowledge and just learning over years of experience. The less you mess with the hair in the ear, the better. But make sure it's not tangled and that it's cut short and flushing their ears out. So, oh, I need to do a sanitary cut and then we're done. And this has gone longer than it normally would have taken just because I keep losing track and I'm talking to you guys. But so on the back here, I'm using the blade so that the tip is going away. The hair grows on the bum, kind of goes into the middle where the hole is. And so when you're using, you can just put your blade and just kind of pull the hair. I mean, this is fun. Pull the hair to the side and then just trim it. And then, so that's nice and open. I'd go ahead and get the hair that's coming down from the tail. That way they just don't get a dingleberry. And he is all good back here. On the boys, I will trim a little bit of the hair on the tip of their member. And but I don't trim it all because the hair actually guides it to go down. If you cut it so it's gone, and you'll notice this if you get your dog shaved, they pee on their leg, their front leg. I mean, it just goes more straight, whereas the hair kind of helps it go down into the grass. So I just leave a little bit on there. Um, and that just makes it better. We're all done, buddy. We're all done. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you. Oh, you're like your daddy and that you just like to make eye contact, huh? Okay, I'm gonna go give him a bath and then I'm gonna get his brother and do another live. Actually, I think I'm gonna get his brother to do the brushing first. So I'll be back on in a few minutes and I hope to see you then. I'm not sure how to get out of here. Here we go.